It's terrifying to watch.
You see the men punching the woman as they try to get her keys.
May 7th, 2016, 9:30 p.m. The west side of Atlanta. A woman pulls up to a gas station located just off I-20 on East Hamilton Holmes Drive. She goes into the convenience store unaware that trouble is following her, and the cameras are rolling. On her way out, the woman does a quick good deed.
She gives a homeless man who's outside the door of the convenience store some money.
Little does she know what awaits her around the corner.
She's approached by these two guys. They are armed, and they are demanding her car. They're robbing her. She's being robbed and carjacked.
An attempted robbery is underway. From inside, the terrified gas station attendant dials 911, unsure how many attackers there are.
So 3-4 guys that robbed the people here, they have guns.
Outnumbered and unarmed, the woman faces her attackers as they steal her keys. But they don't know who they're dealing with.
She's not having it. She's not having any of it. And she is fighting them tooth and nail.
20 miles away in Marietta, Georgia, Billy Warren will soon catch the whole terrifying scene on his television.
My wife and I were getting ready to go to bed. And so the news comes on, it says, breaking news in Atlanta.
2 men with guns jumped a woman.
That woman is his 24-year-old daughter, Jasmine, his only child, and she is in a fight for her life. Billy watches the video in horror.
So many emotions run through your body so quickly that you say to yourself, oh my God, I can't believe this is happening.
So she was literally on her own and did quite well, by the way.
She's a tomboy. She loves weightlifting. She spends a good portion of her time running and in the gym, and she just goes for it.
Jasmine opens the driver's side car door and pulls one of the men out of her car. And things don't stop there. When the other man tries to rescue his accomplice, she goes after the gunman again.
This could have gone really, really wrong for her. These guys were armed with a gun. Why would you do that? You know, why would you put up such a fight over a car? You know, a car could be replaced, you know, but you cannot.
But then, events take an even more dangerous turn.
When he hit her with the gun, she said, okay, it's time for me to shift into a second gear. And then she begins to explode on him, and the other guy comes around to try to pull her off him. Then I'm saying, she's taking a stance. She knows what she's doing. She's made a decision.
Still, Jasmine's dad holds his breath in fear as he watches what happens next. Jasmine goes after the gunman again, but it's a very dangerous decision. The gunman and his accomplice try to drive away, but she still refuses to let them take her car.
She's fighting with these guys, and then the ignition key breaks off in the car, and they can no longer even take the car at this point.
In the midst of the chaos, a car has pulled up behind and seems to pause to watch the unfolding drama. Who's inside? Are they a part of this too? Or are they just too scared to get involved?
We've seen in some other videos where Good Samaritans will jump in, but generally that is not the case. Their fear of being injured or maybe even killed, you know, prevents them from going that extra step to try to help out the person who's being, you know, assaulted right in front of them.
And now, Jasmine's attackers have become even more hostile and aggressive, punching her forcefully. Neither the store clerk or the homeless man Jasmine gave money to minutes earlier are anywhere to be seen.
None of these people chose to intervene to help this young lady out.
Incredibly, Jasmine comes at the gunman a 4th time. They struggle with the handgun, and as the car behind them pulls away, she finally decides to run. Her dad is in shock.
After I saw the gun, I said I could be in a situation where I'm putting my daughter in a casket, and no parent wants to bury their child.
And for Jasmine, it looks like there's no escape. she desperately tries to get inside the gas station, only to find that the door is locked.
My heart just dropped. I said, my kid is going to be killed.
She is on her own against these two.
But the would-be carjackers didn't realize who they were up against, and Jasmine Warren wasn't about to go down without a fight.
It was Cinco de Mayo weekend, and a lot of my friends, they were coming back from college, so we were gonna go out.
Jasmine had stopped to buy some Tylenol on her way to a club in downtown Atlanta.
I was kind of aware of where I was because I'm working in downtown Atlanta, you know, like this is downtown Atlanta. There's a lot of people that come from all over. You know, I'm working in a part of town that's not a very good area, but I've done this for what was going on 4 or 5 years, 6 years. I'm usually a lot of times by myself, so I'm mindful of my surroundings. So when I came in, I drove around the back side of that place just to make sure, like, you know, there wasn't anything going on crazy. I walked out of the store and I didn't see them. They, of course, saw me. And the one guy had the gun, and it just right then, like, hit me like, oh my God, there's a gun in my face.
What should have been a fun night out has become a potentially deadly situation.
He just kept telling me to give me the keys, give me the keys. So I gave him the keys. But as soon as they got in the car and I'm looking at this whole entire thing happen in front of me, it dawned on me, like, I really don't want this to happen. I was like, no, you're not about to do this today, no.
Jasmine makes a quick, calculated assessment of her attackers and decides she can take a risk.
When I saw the movements, I was like, oh, these guys are amateurs. They don't know what they're doing.
That's when Jasmine, who worked as a youth counselor for the city of Atlanta, jumps into action.
They were kids and they were scared. I became like G.I. Jane in 2 minutes. I won't say I'm a badass or tough, but I do consider myself to stand my ground. Like I can be tough if I need to be tough.
When she was born, she was a very small child. So when she turned roughly about 4.5, I got her enrolled in karate. And roughly about 6.5, I found out that she was a very good softball player. And after that, she never looked back. She lettered in every athletic event that she partaked when she was in high school.
Growing up, I did soccer, softball, cross country, track. I had a full-time academic athletic scholarship. I was a pitcher. But more people know me from running than they remember me from softball. Like a lot of people here where I live now, they was like, oh yeah, you used to be fast. Like, yeah, I think I'm still fast, but yeah, that's me.
Still, Jasmine knows she's no match for a loaded firearm.
Yeah, he said to me, I'm gonna shoot you, I'm gonna shoot you. That last time when he cocked the gun, that was the moment where it hit me like, oh no. I didn't know what his intentions was, so I was like, okay, well, I'm just gonna run.
She makes a break for the convenience store door, but to her dismay, the door is locked.
The guy wasn't even trying to open the door. Like at first I was having to yank it. He didn't want to open it. I'm like, open the door.
For a terrifying moment, Jasmine isn't sure what will happen next. But then, the gas station attendant who knows police are on the way finally relents.
Literally, he opened the door. I went in for 2 seconds and came back out because a police officer had pulled up.
To Jasmine's relief, the would-be carjackers have fled the scene, and she is finally safe. And that's when the gravity of it all really sinks in.
I was like, oh my God, I could have died. Oh my God, why did I do that? Like the actual realization, like this really just happened. Like I really just did all of this within this moment of these kids about to take my car.
The first person Jasmine talks to is her father, Billy.
I rushed to the phone. I call her. I'm like, Jay, where are you? Are you okay? And she says, Dad, I'm fine. I had a couple of guys that tried to take my car. And so I get up, I get dressed, and I drove to Atlanta. So it took me about 20 minutes to get to her.
Billy is furious.
I went inside and asked the attendant, I was like, why didn't you go out and help her? You know, I even asked the homeless guy that was in front of the store, why didn't you help her? And they couldn't give me an answer. I just think after he made the call, he could have come from behind the counter. Even if he stuck his head out the door and said, hey, stop that. that would have been a little bit to deter them. I think for the most part, they didn't want to get involved. And being in that sketchy neighborhood, it's not uncommon for people to come into the store and bring their arguments into the store. And so they have to witness all that.
For Billy, the most chilling part is how frighteningly close he came to losing his daughter.
I says, Jasmine, I need to understand something. You were faced with someone who had a gun in your face. Sweetie, what were you thinking fighting these guys?
And brave as her actions were, Jasmine knows she took a huge risk.
You guys, please do not do this. I could be 6 feet under, or I could be crippled, or I could be blind. I could be a lot of things right now, depending on if I would have got shot. I would definitely never do that again.
If these were more hardened criminals, seasoned criminals, so to speak, then it's possible that this could have gone even worse than what it was.
For Billy, it's too much to even think about, and his emotions are all over the place.
Yeah, I was proud that she reacted. I was not proud that she continued to scuffle. But then I guess I'm partially at blame because I've always taught her to stand up for what she thinks is right.
Police launch an intense search for Jasmine's attackers, but never find them. And surprisingly, years later, Jasmine says she isn't angry with them.
I was a youth counselor for the city of Atlanta, for the Atlanta Workforce Development Agency, so it helped me understand what other people have endured or deal with. I did forgive them.